All right. All right. I hope you guys understand the classes, how classes we need to use, and encapsulation and what you call inheritance. So now, so abstract also just I covered. So to use like where we need to use just abstract methods. So here just I'm going to cover abstract classes, and then the next level of abstraction is interfaces. So these two I'm covering it where so please pay attention here. So as I mentioned, like abstract classes, it is a I mean, I already covered some of the topic aspect of the abstract, OOPS concept. The class is which is having some common feature which need not to be, implement. So you need to give because you don't have anything to implement it, whereas it has to, give that implementation for all the child classes. So then we need to make that as an abstract. Okay, so that way where we need to use the abstract classes. So for example, now the definition point of you can say a class that cannot be instantiated and may contain both abstract, no implementation, and non-abstract with implementation methods. This meaning, first in this part you understand, okay, and may contain both abstract method. When it's abstract method, there will not be any implementation. Yeah, we'll ask or will force the subclasses to be implemented that. And non-abstract methods can be there. Okay, so we don't have any issues with that. But at least one abstract method should be there, or maybe, or may not be. But yeah, if there is an abstract method, definitely that class should be abstract classes. So that way we can say. And one more, you need to remember that where we cannot instantiate abstract classes directly. For example, let me go to copy these classes here. Yesterday we have seen in day 2 or okay. Day 2 or day 3, right? Some of the classes. Where did we keep it that abstract? Not here. Okay, yeah. I mentioned it, right? Animal class, just I made it an abstract here. You see this? As we say abstract, there is a what did we make the abstract method is sound. Okay, sound is an abstract method. So then when we say this method abstract animal class, so whoever going to extend the animal class, they must implement or override this method. Okay, because you can say it's implementation because there is no method functionality here since it's an abstract. So the second one is something here animal specific, right? Maybe they may override, but they may not. It's not required. But whatever the abstract method should be implemented in all subclasses. So that is the reason it is saying like doc is saying that Eclipse is saying that to implement it. So when you say add unimplement, so the skeleton or sample method will be created here. You see that override here there sound method. So here where we can do this. So at the rate override is a kind of annotation. I'll let you know what is the importance of these annotations because we may need this is in a J2E concept more. But yeah, for now, just you can understand like this at the rate starts with on top of class or method or field, which starts with at the rate is called annotations. Okay, that will be predefined meaning for particular, in the Java development. So now you see that sound when you implement this sound, this got vanish error. So dog is now implemented because it fulfill the what you call child class by extending animal class, because what are the animal method that is called sound is abstract that got implemented here, so that this can extract the feature of animal. Okay, so uh, yeah, at the same time cat also. So cat is already overridden. That's what, like, it didn't give any errors. So we it may implement or may not implement other methods of the parent class, but abstract method should be implemented, kind of a sound. So then with this, right, and we previously when we have a demo, we used to create like this, right? For example, demo. Okay. Very first time we tried in this way. Animal, animal, new animal, right? That time when the parent class was there. Now just if you see it, see why? Because if it is not abstract class, it would have allowed that. Okay. But now the way we make it an animal is abstract class, right? It won't be because it doesn't have anything implementation, right? Doesn't know what kind of behavior it has to, because this is given purely to what you call child classes. So then it says it doesn't know what it has to be implemented. That is the reason, like, we cannot directly instantiate the abstract class. But previously would have we were created because when it was not abstract class. Okay, so we need to understand that. So with this we can say any interviewer or anyone will ask, like, how can we create the instance how many ways to create the instance for the abstract class. So they'll confuse you to create it. So simply you can say we cannot create an object for abstract class. Either it should be created through subclasses, because of abstract methods will be there in the abstract classes. Clear? Now this way. Okay, and when we need to use these abstract classes, so as I mentioned, I'm sharing you a document also. Are you able to see this? Okay. Yeah, probably I will give you this example also, just to make sure that you, but just
మనిషి మాత్రం కాదు.
okay.
నిన్ను ఏమైనా అంటే నేను తిడతాను కావాలని
Akila, can you please go on mute? Okay. All right. Now let me go to the okay, interface also, so that, like, where we can implement.
ఎన్ని తిట్టినా దులుపుకొని వెళ్ళిపోవడం.
All right. So next one is interfaces. So next one is interface here. Clear about the abstract class? Okay. So now you see that, like, animal class is having two methods, right? For example, make abstract method and non-abstract method as well, right? So non-abstract methods can be initialized because object will be created, and then initialize method also will be called, right? Whenever the object is getting created for a subclass that we already tested. Okay, we already You see this? Though animal class is abstract, you see that like, animal, see animal constructor called, this meaning animal object is created through dog. Okay. Here also, I think a cat, right? For cat also is cat is not extending, cat is extending, right? Yeah. You see that animal class is in, you see animal constructor also called, and it's also called initialized method. So what's happening here? So cat also calling constructor, because animal is a method, is a abstract class, but still object is getting created, because the concept of object creation for a class, because still that's required a instance to be created to utilize all other methods like initialized methods, right? So there is also an implementation is there in abstract class. So hence, abstract class is a required instance, or required to be instantiated, but not by its own. So some of the subclasses should be done, because that is a state of a abstract class now, because of it's having one abstract method. Right? So this behavior is little, I cannot say tricky, but like, just use it while practicing it, like you'll understand more. So wherever you see that particular class, definitely that that entity, he cannot do it at least for one function of his own. Remaining methods that he can be implemented, that point in time, definitely we can make it a what you call one abstract class. It's a real-time scenario, or any owner, or any some kind of a Francis will be there, right? For example, what you call any hotel, famous hotel. So they'll say that like they'll take some kind of a Francis. They'll operate off their own at particular head location, but Francis also will be there to take off some kind of a flavor. Okay, when I say I think some kind of a Bawachi hotel, right? Famous Hyderabad, Bawachi hotel. So they're they're still operating at the main location, but many of the people, they'll take some kind of franchise, they'll do it. So it is not really stopping it there, but still they are operating off. They're taking off the ingredients or the process of the making biryani, right? So that's called like, we can, what we can say is a Bawachi hotel can make as an abstract class. Okay, but yeah, others are still operate, utilizing it, but yeah, he cannot run off its own, because of now at this moment all others also make that implementation for some of the area. All right, so that way we can see, whenever you see that kind of a requirement, like we need to choose, okay, what is the abstract class and what to make some kind of enforcement. If you want to implement in a software, then we make some kind of abstract classes. So whoever coming to that particular extending class, right, they need to adhere to follow or implement particular rule. Okay, clear? Now, yeah, we'll go to the interface. So if you make it one more level, there is only one method, no chance of implementation. Only the feature they can give it, but all the methods are abstracts. All the methods are abstract. There is no of its own implementation. Then what we can do is we can go with like one more level of class that is extremely abstract methods called interface. Just interface, it will give it, they'll give the just interface. All are sorry, all are implementation classes. So this like where we can say kind of stuff. Now they are going to make it in the central government, right? Most of the I can say all the most of the central government, these are railway stations, right? Previously it's running up by road. Okay, so okay. Now you see that like in each and every stations also going to handing over to private parties, like just to implement that of their own. Why, like they are making some kind of a more like central government, if we give it's like a long more time to implement and all, and maintenance would be a is expensive, and it's a difficult for to manage it. So they're giving they're making that as a privatization, so that like they'll private people will involve into that all the designing and implementation of, and renewal of the complete stations, and they were doing it. So this slowly at this moment like an abstract, and once so everything is given to private, right? Then for central government there is no kind of implementation. Each, if you want to implement or anything, it has to give the contract to the third party people, because of there is no implementation. It has to be depend on the private parties. So that's what, like first is a class to slowly abstract class, because I mean that we can take a real example. So when it's a started a railway, when it's all the, there is no first party, third party or private people involved into the business. So that time central government is organized of its alone. So that time it is just a class. Now slowly people are organizing, or it is giving to private parties, right? Private people, it's giving the contract to them, so that like they'll implement slowly. Some of the features are giving to the private parties, particular big places, big locations, kind of a big cities. So the time like some of the main feature for big city implementation is implemented by the private parties. And slowly once they are familiar with this also, and then it will give it to all other small town or other places also, it will give it to the third party. Then the complete implementation will be handing over to the private parties. Then central government don't have any people are to run it off own. That time definitely it will become a one interface, because if there is no methods as such to implement of its own, it has to be given to the third parties. Then central government become a interface. So that is one example I can say. The same way where we can see how interface works. So if there are no implementation methods in a particular class, then we can make it as interface. Just I'll tell you one example. The feature is here. A complete abstract type is used to define a contract for a classes. All methods in interface are implicitly abstract. Okay. Before Java 8 and public. Okay. Just this I'll explain you. One we'll discuss Java 8 feature once you are completed. The core Java concept. Then we'll start getting to Java 8 also. Then we can see some kind of a small changes in interfaces that will tell you. But for now, when I say interface is something kind of a completely abstract classes, abstract type used defining a contract for a classes. When I say classes, you see it here. For example, movable. Previously, just use them. Each and every class that we need to start with a class keyword. But here we are making it just an interface movable. So just like in a wide move is a one interface, meaning this method, sorry, abstract method. So we no need to mention abstract here, because when you make it interface, by default, all the methods are abstract methods. Whereas if you want to define any abstract method in a abstract class, there we need to add abstract. where we need to add a abstract because of abstract class is having abstract methods. But when you say interface movable is abstract interface where it is having only one method called move, hence it is a abstract method by default. And one more can say type also here. Okay, flyable. It's a flyable. So interface flyable because this is kind of a fly. Okay, so this is also abstract method. When I say see, now there are two features, right? Movable and flyable. These are two interfaces, but when I say abstract class need to be choose which is suitable. For example, if the car, if you want to take a class, this can implement which class, sorry, which interface, mobile or flyable? Only mobile, right? Because car cannot fly at this moment. Okay, give me 1 second. Someone is on my door. Okay, I'm back. Okay, and so car is just a kind of a mobile, right? So where we can implement. So whatever interface, if you are doing that, like extending is cannot be extending. We're implementing because extending is kind of a just it's have a own features and also extending to implement one of the feature. But here interface itself we need to implement all the methods. How many are there in that particular method? So that's what we introducing a keyword called implements because we need to implement all the methods which are available in interface. So class car implements mobile where implementing at this moment is a move method we are implementing this one. Okay. For example, if we make one more vehicle called aeroplane. So aeroplane is class where you can implement both of the interfaces, mobile then flyable, right? That's why like here you see mobile and flyable actually there are two unrelated interfaces, right? It is having on one, it is having one. So that's what, but yeah, a class is something like where we need to choose particularly interface is just interface is giving a just contract for a unrelated classes. Okay, now it is combining of mobile and flyable. Wherever it's required, we need to adapt and implement it. Okay, now move and fly. Okay, just now I'm going to do it here in this one class called main class, right? I'll keep it here. This you can also practice it. I'm going to share you this document as well so that you can practice it. Okay, you see it now? When I say mobile is interface, so just the same concept of how we use like an animal versus other fields, like cat and dog. The same way we can use it here is interface reference to its implementation. Okay, now airplane, when I say airplane is also interface, but we are giving like, sorry, not airplane is interface, sorry, my bad. Airplane is a class where we can implement, because it's implemented two methods, right? Flyable and movable. That's why like we are calling move and fly. Okay, so anything that we can use, for example, airplane, if we say we can implement, we can take that reference of flyable also can take airplane object, and mobile also can take flyable, right? Okay, flyable, you. So if you say F dot, only fly will get, okay, not the, okay, not the move, because flyable interface can able to get that only fly feature, because this is an interface, right? Now is that like, airplane is flying in the sky, because this is only flyable. But airplane, if we say, it can be move also, right? So that's why like, whatever we do have it based on the implementation. If we say airplane can implement move and fly. But whereas the car can implement or only move method, because car is implemented, you see this car is implemented which interface? Just a mobile interface. So this is just printing move method. Okay. Any guy, any doubts? Okay, just I'm giving the one explain here, and also you can practice it after I explained. I think it is why I'm not stressing some kind of a basics is like most of the people are already new, and just like I'm finding where exactly that we need to stress out and remember. So those points only just I'm covering it. Maybe just it's a good to have it some kind of you do it of your own practice as well whenever free time. Okay, and please start keeping your outputs, or posting your outputs in our WhatsApp group, so that like it will be benefit for all others, and also will come to know that how serious you are. Right? You say methods, abstract and interfaces. We can say can have both abstract and non-abstract classes, but interface having only abstract methods. Okay, the fields also, if we say, they can have instance variables, because this is also a class of its own implementation, right? So it can use some of the instance variables, any kind of a fields, but here it's having only constants. So static and final, right? So next class I would like to cover the access modifiers. There, like I'll cover static, final, and public, protected, and void, all the fields. But today, at least like you'll try to understand abstract classes and interfaces, which is very important. And inheritance, support the single inheritance and ls multiple inheritances. Here interface, when you see this, it is we are implemented more than one interface, right? A class airplane implemented two interfaces, mobile and flyable. So here, if you see inheritance concept, there are multiple inheritance, right? Single, multiple and multi-level. So multiple inheritance is possible only in interfaces, not the classes, because there will be ambiguity, because it has to create a object for the both, right? So the ambiguity will occur for a classes.